Hello, dear listener, and welcome to ThriveCast, unlocking your full potential. Your well-being is our priority, and we're here to provide you with practical, heartfelt advice on living your best life. Together, we'll explore identity, purpose, prosperity mindset, authenticity, and so much more. So grab your headphones and get ready. Your journey starts now.
So hello everybody, welcome back. And this week we are going to talk about the extraordinary being within you. So Oscar, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Oscar Nygren. I'm an emotional fitness coach, and I have the website realitydecoding.com, where I basically help people get understanding of their emotional world. And by being there and understanding it, they can also make better life choices so they ultimately can thrive in life. So that is what I do. I also have a Facebook group that's called Live Your Purpose, and a YouTube channel that's called Oscar Nygren. Yes. And Katarina, what about you?
Yes, I just want to say, first of all, I just had a therapeutic session with Oscar and it was amazing. He goes right to the core. He asks the most aligned questions and he can get you to break through. So I really recommend his work. So who am I? I'm a consultant. I help you find your purpose through the entrepreneurial blueprint consultation, which takes one day. And in one day, you find your true identity, your purpose, your vision, and what's stopping you, and turn that around. So in one day, you are set to thrive as an entrepreneur. All right. So today, what we have in store for you is the extraordinary being within you. So what is that, Oscar?
Wow, that's a big question, but essentially the extraordinary being is your connection to the divine within you. It's essentially when your body, your soul, and your spirit align to do your highest will, what most fulfills you in life, and to be of service to others and thrive doing so. That's what I would say is an extraordinary being. And then whatever that means, if it comes to even supernatural powers, perhaps. But in the beginning, just doing what really, really, really sparks us up, well, that's extraordinary. And it inspires people to their core.
Thank you, Oscar. So what's my version of the extraordinary being? For me, it's life itself. When you are in contact with your extraordinary being within, nothing else really matters, and then everything matters. It's an oxymoron in a way, but your life starts to align with extraordinary power. And that doesn't mean power over other people. It means your inner power. Tony Robbins wrote the book, Unlock the Giant Within. That's what we're talking about. It's like, why are just 2% of entrepreneurs worldwide extremely successful? And what about the 98% of the rest of us? Why are we not tapping into this divine energy? Because they are. Whether they're conscious of it or not conscious of it, they are tapping into their this extraordinary power, this extraordinary love, which is omnipotent and omnipresent and has access to all knowledge, omniscient. So it's like ChatGPT, but much, much, much greater. So it can inspire you. It can tell you exactly where to go, how to thrive, how to live every day, if you really listen within.
Yeah, and it's all about that, right? Because to unlock the giant within, you need to listen within. It's not like you listen without, right? It's essentially you discerning something, what is going on within.
Absolutely.
Because it's essentially saying that, well, there is a giant within. Now, how to access it?
Exactly. So my next question is, who has it? Well, obviously, everyone has it. So whoever's listening, you have it. Even if you are not in contact with it, we're going to show you ways that you can be. Because this is your key to your success. This is your key to your passion, to thriving. This is your key to healing. Because this being within you knows you better than anybody else. Your closest friend, your lover, your husband, your wife, your children. It knows you better. And it knows exactly what you need most.
Yes, and what I also want to add to that is that it's so easy to look upon others and say like, ooh, I want to be like them. But the extraordinary being within you is totally unique, totally authentic, and has its own way of going about in life. And so it is lovely to be inspired by others, but to truly find within you what brings you the most satisfaction and what is your true expression, that is what is ultimately most love, most blissful experience within you. And that is also what essentially inspires others to find themselves too.
Exactly. So what stops us? Wouldn't it be extraordinary to live a life in a world where everybody's coming from their extraordinary being, starting in school? And this isn't a religious thing. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, have a lot of rules or rituals, whatever. It can be if you want it to be. That's your choice. But imagine a world of extraordinary beings, how easy life could be, right? Would we be at war? No one would bother, right, to be at war. Why would you do that? Because most of us are struggling for survival. So what stops us is our inner saboteur. It's the reptilian brain at the back of our head that's supposed to keep us safe and small, but it keeps us safe and small and ultimately dead without thriving, without actually reaching our purpose. So it's like there's an inner Armageddon. There's a war going on within us, and the extraordinary being doesn't fight, doesn't have to. It's so powerful. But the inner saboteur fights it and fights it and fights it and fights it. Because why? Because it has so much power over us. And it doesn't want to lose that power. So it will tell us every time, no, you don't have an extraordinary being inside you. Who do you think you are? We're going back to Yantalog again, you're not worthy of anything. Who do you think you are that can actually talk to God? So what's your take on that, Oscar? You're smiling.
Yeah, it essentially is that, right? To discern again, like the discernment of these voices within. Because the same way that you have a voice that is, well, you have a personal voice, you have humanity's voice, you have the saboteur's voice, right? But then you also have this extraordinary being or God or whomever you really, really connect to that has only your absolute best interest in mind. What when you listen to those thoughts, it ultimately fills you up with the most extraordinary emotions, right? And those emotions is what will empower you to make the behaviors that causes you to get the extraordinary life, right? So it's essentially about discerning which what are the voices within, and that is always has always been the most tricky, because most people have been so ingrained in, oh, I feel this way, it must be this way, right? So to look at what are you thinking, what are you feeling, and is it coming from the highest place? No, if not, then first of all, if there's a trauma around that, then you need to ride that trauma out. You need to complete that emotion, because otherwise it will follow you. But if you have done so, then it's up to you to actually discern. It's like, well, what is it that I truly want? What fills me up with the most extraordinary emotions? And then start feeling those and see what actions are arising from that place.
Thank you. Absolutely, Oscar. So my next question is, how do you contact? This is like, we could do hours and hours of this, but how do we contact? How can you start to contact your extraordinary being? And I would say, first of all, if you're into mindfulness, that will definitely help. Self-reflection, meditation is what works for me. Yoga. There are many, many different ways. Just listening within. I get inspired in the bathroom. Isn't that amazing? Because it's a very pure place. I get inspired. I get ideas. When you get an idea, don't knock it. Just write it down. Put it on a post-it note, and put it in a place where you will remember. Because those ideas, however crazy they may seem, are the keys to your success. So listen. When you listen, the more you listen, the more the extraordinary being will talk to you. So what do you say, Oscar?
I'm saying normally the first thought is the one that comes from the most purest of source, right? And then it is up to us to discern what is that most pure thought, right? And um, and then in order to start that journey, somehow we need to first of all sit down and like put an intention, like, because that's how it starts. If you do not know where you're heading, you at least set the intention that you're going to understand where you're heading. So you set an intention, and then you start. Maybe if you have a piece of pen, you sit and you start to write down, because we have to understand this, that it is a practice to start writing out what is it that we want, what is our will, right? And because as we do that, we will become apparently clear of the thoughts, the emotions that are blocking us from actually feeling that this is something that's coming true, right? Because when you start writing a target, you will always become aware of what is on the way to that target. And what is on the way to that target, because everything is here and now, it means that it's always an emotion. It's always a thought, right? There's always a pattern of behavior that has stopped you, which is the old version of you that you need to discern and let go of in order to step in to the other version that you're actually desiring.
Thank you, Oscar. So we're going to continue this conversation, and next week we're going to talk about God's will or your will. Whether you believe in God or not doesn't really matter. Is it the life force will? Is there a universal will or your will? And do they conflict or not? So, Oscar, how do people contact you?
Well, they get in touch with me on realitydecoding.com or on Facebook, Live Your Purpose, or on YouTube as Oscar Nygren. So that's the best way to get in touch with me.
Thank you. And for me, it would be LinkedIn. I'm Catherine Carlsson. My business name is Katarina Hanssens Carlsson, but my official name is Catherine Carlsson. Destiny International 11 at gmail.com. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Take care.